Hey everyone, this is your stimulus check update. Third stimulus check update and $1,400 stimulus check update for Tuesday, February 9th. This video is for those of you on SSI, SSDI, or in Social Security, or anyone else wondering about the third stimulus check and the latest details on the next stimulus proposal. This is going to be a quick update, but I wanted to go over all of the details of the latest proposal that came out in the House of Representatives yesterday. So first of all, $1,400 stimulus checks. One of the biggest questions was what the income limits would be set at. Well, it sounds like the income limits are not going to be changed from the previous two stimulus checks. But the phase out actually happens at a faster rate. So the income limits continue to be $75,000 per year, and below would still receive the full $1,400 stimulus check if they're single filers. $150,000 per year and below would still receive the two stimulus checks for a couple, $2,800. After that, they continue to phase out. After $100,000 for single filers, the stimulus checks stop completely. And after $200,000 for joint filers, the stimulus checks stop completely. That's a little bit quicker of a phase out than they had previously. But the regular income limits for the full stimulus check have not changed. One of the biggest questions I get asked is about adult dependents. Adult dependents in the current latest proposal would be included. $1,400 stimulus checks would be coming to those of you that are claimed on someone else's taxes, and that is for any age. So children under the age of 17 would still receive the full $1,400 stimulus checks. In addition to that, anyone over the age of 17 and claimed on someone else's taxes, you would receive the full $1,400 stimulus checks. So that's great news for those of you that are adult dependents and that have been left out of the previous two stimulus checks. State unemployment benefits, those would be extended until the end of August. Now, the federal unemployment benefits were originally going to be $300 per month. Those have been changed to $400 per month and would be extended until the end of September. For those of you that made more money in the year 2020 versus 2019 and get bumped over that income threshold where your stimulus check is either lowered or completely taken away because of the income limits, you might want to wait to file taxes. The IRS is going to use the taxes, either your 2019 taxes or your 2020 taxes, depending on when you file your 2020 taxes. So if you get bumped over that income limit, it would be wise to wait until this deal is finalized and until they give a deadline on when to file taxes to have your stimulus check hit your 2020 tax year. If you make less money in 2020, you will want to file your taxes, and that actually puts you below the income limit. You will want to file your taxes sooner so that you can get the stimulus check with your reduced income level in 2020 versus 2019. If you don't get your full stimulus check, you will actually have to claim this third stimulus check on your 2021 tax filing. So one of the biggest provisions that is in this stimulus check is a $3,600 child tax credit. Now, there is no minimum income limit to receive this. So even if you made no money last year, or you're on SSI, SSDI, or received Social Security benefits, and you didn't have any income from a job, you are still eligible for this $3,600 or $3,000 child tax credit. So if you have a child dependent at home and that child is under the age of 6, you would receive $3,600 per year. This will be sent out at a monthly basis. So it would be $300 per month for any child that's under the age of 6 that is your dependent. Any child that is over the age of 6, you would receive $250 per month. This money would be sent out monthly, just like stimulus checks are currently sent out right now. Basically, if it's sent out direct deposit, you would receive it. If you've received stimulus checks via direct deposit, or you receive your benefits direct deposit, you would receive this $300 per month for children under 6, and $250 a month benefit over 6, the same way you receive your current benefits or your previous stimulus checks. The other good news is this money would not count as income, so you won't be taxed on it later on. The other thing is, if for some reason your income changes and you no longer are eligible for this income, they've actually put in a provision and said that if they paid it out to you, it is yours to keep, even if your income were to change and you went over that income threshold. This child tax credit would replace the current $2,000 child tax credit, but would be available to a lot more people than the current $2,000 child tax credit is available. The idea is it would be sent out monthly so that it would help poorer Americans on a monthly basis versus having to file at the end of the year and receive the $3,000 or $3,600 tax credit per child. In kind of a surprise move, the $15 per hour minimum wage was actually included in this House stimulus proposal. However, there are a lot of opponents of this $15 minimum wage as well, and that's why it was a little surprising that it was included in this House proposal. It does sound like that this $15 minimum wage probably could not make it through a bill as a budget reconciliation item. So that means that there would need actually 60 votes in the Senate to pass this $15 minimum wage. Opponents of this $15 minimum wage increase say that it's going to hurt small businesses, and in addition to that, it's going to cost a lot of Americans their jobs. The Congressional Budget Office, in fact, came out with a report yesterday saying that it would cost about 1.5 million jobs, basically businesses saying, oh, if I have to pay $15 per hour, I'm going to just not hire that employee, or I'm going to lay off these employees. And just basically pick up the slack elsewhere. There are a lot of concerns about that $15 an hour minimum wage. While some people, argue that it's going to raise the poverty level for a lot of people, or raise the income for a lot of people that are on minimum wage, the question is, do the benefits outweigh the drawbacks, or do those drawbacks make it so it probably won't happen? My guess is it's not something that's going to pass the Senate. One of the other interesting provisions in this next stimulus proposal is a reimbursement for funeral costs. So these funeral costs would be reimbursed retroactively back to March of 2020. So if you had a loved one that passed away in the year 2020 or sometime up until now, this stimulus proposal would actually give provisions for reimbursement of funeral expenses, and the idea is to help cover costs for people that lost a loved one to COVID, but I believe it's for any funeral expenses for anyone that passed away. You would have to produce receipts and everything else for it to receive this funeral expense reimbursement. A few of the other provisions that are included in this stimulus bill: $130 billion for K through 12 schools, $40 billion for colleges and universities, $39 billion for child care providers, as well as a $4,000 child tax credit or dependent care credit. Basically, if you were paying someone to take care of your kids, or you had somebody watching your kids and you were paying for that, you would receive up to a 50% reimbursement for those expenses you paid, up to $4,000 per child. If you have 2 children, it could be up to $8,000. But the thing is, you would have to spend basically double that amount. So let's say last year you spent $8,000 in child care expenses at daycare or whatever else. You would receive a $4,000 reimbursement, or 50% of the actual cost that you incurred. That's pretty much what I have for you today. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again soon.